Coming up on next week's Big Breakfast with guest presenters Lisa Tarbuck and Davina McCall. We cry you beauty with Iman. It's a sports spectacular with top football pundit Jimmy Hill, cricket legend Richie Benno and king of darts Sid Waddell. In the Sizzler, news on Austin Powers and TV drama The Sopranos. Go behind the scenes of the Flintstones movie. We're ironic with Alanis Morissette. Plus, the bigger breakfast is back with Dermot and Josie when Abs and Scott from 5 are live. It's all coming next week on your big and bigger breakfast.
Oh, yes! It's like a dream, isn't it? That is all on next week's show. OK, there are literally billions of people around the world who love Star Wars. That's a fact, yeah? Many of them work here at the Big Breakfast. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome now to the shed, the Holy Shed, the man responsible for creating the entire Star Wars universe. Would you please give it up for the one, the only, Mr. George Lucas, ladies and gentlemen. Morning, George. Welcome to our humble shed. Now, all week we've had this family tree of Phantom Menace on the show here. I just wonder what you made of it. It's confused a lot of people.
Well, I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, I think here, if you turn left, you really should end up in Putney.
Only if you change it. OK. Now, episode 1 is probably the most anticipated film ever. Talk to me about the pressure of that. The pressure
None, really. I mean, to me, it's just a movie, and you know, I work every day, and I just make my little movie, and I feel fairly secure it'll be well received by a few people, and you know, so the pressure is, you know, not that great actually. I know the really high expectations of some of the fans and everything I can't possibly meet, so.
Well, that's really what
I simply don't worry about it, because there's nothing I can do about it. Once you get your expectations so high, there's no way you can meet them.
What was it, you think, about the original movies that kind of captured people's imaginations so much?
Well, it's probably because they're the most brilliant films ever made, and endlessly entertaining.
You're preaching to the converted.
Besides that, I think you know, they're based on ancient myths and mythology and the kinds of stories that have entertained people for thousands of years. And I did it as a kind of a experiment of trying to move this forward, and it actually worked a lot better than I imagined. But I'm pretty sure that it's sort of the ancient emotional underpinnings that make people really gravitate toward it.
Because the way I kind of read it is well, the way I imagine it is that, you know, George has this book, a great big leather book covered in dust. It's the Chronicles of Space, and it's there. You've written the whole thing already, and it's, you know, it's complete in your own mind. Is that right?
No, that's wrong.
But you don't have the complete story all mapped out right from the start. All those years ago, it was all there.
No.
Okay, nice.
What I have.
So you're winging it.
No, I have a little story treatment, a little outline that says this happened here, and in the first one I actually had all the scripts, but I had to sort of rewrite the scripts as they went along, because since they became 3 movies, they had to have different structures and things. But what I'm working on now was the backstory, which I'd written out. Oh, this is where he came from. This is where he came from. This is what the Clone Wars are all about. This is all this stuff. It's just a little outline basically that goes right through the plot of the movie and where the characters came from and what they did. It's only about 7 or 8 pages.
Oh, that's brilliant. All these people think you've schemed the whole thing up, and in fact, George Lucas, he makes it up as he goes along. Okay, now we all know the story of the original trilogy. What does this new one concern before we have a look at a clip of the action?
This one is about young Anakin as a boy, and how he goes from being a slave on a remote planet on the edge of the universe to getting to be trained as a Jedi, how that all transpires. That's one story. Then there's another story where a queen's planet is being threatened by some powerful trade federation, and
can you just explain this, because this is the bit that the writing at the start concerns.
That's where the writing.
So what is the writing at the start of this one? What's it going to tell our viewer?
Well, most people will find it confusing, but basically what it says is that there's a planet. The bad guys have surrounded it.
Planet, bad guys, rounded.
Yeah, surrounded.
Why?
They can't get it. Well, we don't know why. It doesn't make any difference.
It's a $150 million movie. What do you want to know? Yeah.
They're bad guys. What
they're
can you
bad
say?
Guys. That's all you need to know now.
Yeah, they're bad guys. And the people on the planet are threatened, and there's a trade dispute. And so they send these 2 Jedi to, who are the kind of enforcers of the universe.
Ewan and Liam, we know them.
Yeah, and they come to settle the dispute. The way they settle disputes is sort of the way the mafia settles disputes. They sort of come in and say, you take half, it's settled, okay, now that's the end of it, and gets it over with. But they stumble into the fact that there's a much bigger conspiracy going on, and the real plot is that these bad guys are going to take over the planet, and it's actually involved in a much bigger and more obscure plot that goes on by the character we know as the Phantom Menace.
The Phantom Menace. Okay, let's have a look at a clip of the action. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force. You believe it's this boy?
I don't presume to.
But you do. Revealed your opinion is.
I request the boy be tested, Master.
Oh. Trained as a Jedi, you request for him, hmm?
Finding him was the will of the Force. I have no doubt of that.
Bring him before us, then.
Oh! Yes! Woo! Now, as you can see there, the special effects in the movie are absolutely stunning. How much of the movie was actually generated on a computer? How much was live action that the actors could actually see?
Well, ultimately, you know, it's like 2 movies. We shot the entire film live, and then we animated the entire film. So you're watching an animated film and a live action film both at the same time. 95% of the film has been manipulated digitally, either with animated characters or backgrounds or whatever. There's very little of it that's actually real.
This is question 7. Are you ready? You're good friends with Steven Spielberg. I know you like to put little references to each other's movies in your own ones. Did I see a couple of ETs in this one?
There are a couple of ETs.
A couple of ETs.
Yeah.
Was that a tough decision to make?
Well, they weren't in there originally, and I showed the film to Steven, and he said, where's the ETs? And I said, oh, I think because he mentioned it like years before, and I'd forgotten about it. I said, oh, all right, I'll go back and I'll put some ETs in there somewhere.
Because we had a couple of really overweight Star Wars fans on the show with sort of long hair and little goatees there, and they didn't like that at all. The invasion of ETs into there.
Well,
I pointed out to them that they're not very good with women. Sort of evened it up. Do you know what? I'd like you to hang around. We will be having another chat in just a second, okay. I hope. In the meantime, though, I've got... where are my pants? Oh, here we go. These are genuine Darth Maul pants.
Oh, yeah.
Beware the dark side. If you just like to slip your... We've got a shrine. Someone's going to win the shrine. If you just like to put your signature on that, just while we're... Yeah, put it on the dark side. Why not? Do you know what? This is Channel 4. You're watching The Big Breakfast. The Force is strong with you, George. Aye.